It's Game 7 of the ALGS Championship. 6 teams are on match point, meaning that if any of them win this game, they'll lift the trophy. And the biggest threat of them all, Team Falcons, are in prime position to win.
This is magnetic force here as they will the next zone towards them.
In the final 3 squads, they are holding the best spot, and one of the other teams is a duo. A win here would be a legacy-defining moment. Guild gets his first LAN victory, Waltzy gets his first championship, and Hal would become the only player to have ever lifted the champs trophy twice. But then
3 squads left. They have to look behind them, but there's still another chance. We get more
No!
Falcons lost. The timeline erupts. Blame is thrown at each individual player, so much so that Imperial Hal even tweets out after the tournament defending himself. So what actually happened? Who's to blame? Did Falcons throw, or were they simply outmatched? To begin this game, we are on Olympus, which was first introduced to the ALGS this very tournament, meaning it is the map our pros have the least competitive experience on. Olympus as a whole lacks a large amount of cover across the map, meaning that early game positioning is quite important, and Team Falcons know this quite well.
Alright, I'm hitting console now. Like him and...
Holy fuck. We need to go early, I think. So,
yeah.
Alright. Gonna let you drop. Yeah. Get in. Grab this compound. We play.
I'm barreling underneath.
Everything is taken, anyways. We have to play here where we're at.
Now, funnily enough, this area may be a bit familiar because Falcons are actually in the exact position this game will end at. They just don't quite realize it yet. And the lack of cover Olympus has is going to be on full display. With the zone ending near Hammond, there are very few spots in this wide open field. A majority of our teams end up having to play on the eastern side of zone, largely because of the cover being weighted towards that side, and a handful of teams also believe that it might be ending there.
Now I want to give recon as to where Falcons just ported into or landed into. They are in a great spot. If it ends on that side, Falcons have no one next to them from the Estates area. They would be in one of the most prime spots, I believe, for the end game.
This leaves the west side largely empty, which allows for Falcons to focus entirely on clearing their back.
They're hard trading. It's 2v2, I think.
Yeah, come.
I think it's 2v2.
Coming.
Come on.
Nice.
Go
One team dead. This is a duo now. This is a
Yeah,
duo.
come.
Go together.
Stay there, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm looking temple, okay?
Got a thirst.
They're just in front of you. They're just in front of you guys.
I know, they're right here.
You gotta clear your back. You've heard this so many times. It is a mantra in Apex. You must clear your backside. Falcons are doing that right now. They hear the respawn behind them. They don't want VP to start looting some boxes and then become a problem. They're gonna take care of it before it even comes to that.
With Alliance also eliminated here, Falcons are hungry. They're looking to swoop in for the dub. VP, they get taken out by the smoke launcher from the Bangalore. Hal placing that chef's kiss, as now they hold the final zone pool. They hold height on top of this platform.
But now from their south, Crazy Thieves are beginning to make a move.
I got portal at 30. We need to start fighting this team height.
I can bang
That's the only way we win this game.
Should I drive up to him?
I mean, we can. Yeah, we can drive with left side. You can drive with left side. I can portal up.
Okay, I'm doing it now. Wait, doing it now.
Hurt.
Went out wide a bit.
Coming.
Yeah, one's putting up.
Yeah,
On you, Hal.
I have to play the big hole.
I'm APing. AP them. Okay. One's low grab by himself. Busting.
I'm swinging the kid on left.
Yeah.
I spike for you.
Get back that fully.
Bad in.
I'm holding.
I baited it.
Just playing around the pillar. Right to port. Coming. Lost the crowd. One.
81, batting. 80 on
I got him.
Hal goes down, but Verhulst on Thieves is stuck on the low ground, delaying a full-on assault. This allows for Waltzy to revive Hal, but Thieves have now regrouped, and Jen Burton takes down Guild.
You need to get that. Just go kill.
I'll be left.
With Waltzy and Guild both down, Hal just has to try to escape. But from behind, Thieves have been mirrored.
They're fighting behind us.
On the compound?
Yes. Yeah.
Look at this guy.
Nice.
Push up on this. We can force their building.
I stunned him. He's on the corner right here.
Somebody have one.
On the roof. I'm batting. I have to bat.
Go to the inside. Break the other barrels. Break the barrels.
He's literally in the corner on the right.
No. Let's back.
Breaking barrels.
Get that thirst.
Other guy ran.
Hot Dog Mafia perfectly timed the walk up to steal the spot from both Thieves and Falcons, but somehow, some way, Hal is still alive, and more importantly, Waltzy is too. And this is huge because earlier in the game, Hal made sure to give Waltzy a mobile respawn beacon.
Put Moby here, grab this. Ulti.
This is because Crypto is one of the most powerful characters in the game for respawns, as he can grab banners from death boxes remotely with his drone and then instantly respawn his teammates, bypassing the timer a normal player would have.
No, Waltzy! Yep. I think he actually crawled down, so they only needed the one respawn. No way. Falcons back up to 3?
Falcons are now a full 3, with only one squad to clear underneath them.
Do these teams know that this is Falcons? Falcons are the only team running the Crypto, by the way, left in this lobby before Hal drops down. The RE45 with the gold extended energy mag is all they need to take out SBI Esports. 3 teams left.
And so with SBI eliminated, the only teams left are Fnatic and Hot Dog Mafia, but crucially, Fnatic, who Valk ulted in late to play the building underneath Hot Dog, are going to get challenged by Skittle. He took a poor angle, and this leads to him going down, and Hot Dog are not going to be able to revive him, which leaves us in a 3v3v2.
There's only really one question here, Vicky. Do they know who Falcons is?
And to answer Genome's question, there is not a single point in this entire game where either Hot Dog nor Fnatic mention the possibility of Falcons or a match point team in general being alive in this endgame. To start, Falcons have all 3 of their ultimates available, but after Skittles dies to Fnatic respond by trying to push Hot Dog on the height in order to wipe the duo. This move fails, resulting in Yuka F going down, although they are able to revive him. But when this happens on the low ground, Hal throws his Bangalore ultimate Rolling Thunder. Despite the fact that he uses his ultimate right as the final ring is about to close, we still have another 2 minutes before this game will actually end, meaning that his ultimate is essentially useless, as for the next minute and a half, neither of these teams actually have to move. We're gonna fast forward all the way to 18 minutes and 39 seconds for our next meaningful action as Guild throws his Caustic ultimate.
I'm cost sculpting. Okay, cost sculpt to the rock.
But when he does it, it is only able to get 2 meaningful ticks onto Fnatic, being the first 2 pieces of damage to Libel Ace. I am unsure what his intention was when he threw this ultimate, but he throws it to the right side of the rock, which does clear space for Falcons to move up and eventually play this position. The only problem is that using this ultimate for space control only isn't effective when in these end games it can decimate the opposing teams. Otherwise, Guild's ultimate does 0 damage to the other 4 players in the lobby, as Hot Dog are still up in the sky, while Fnatic have tons of space behind their rock to buy time. And right after Guild's ultimate is used, Waltzy goes for an EMP, which could hit all 5 opposing players.
I can EMP the full 3, I can EMP.
But he takes it high into the air above the rock, instead of nesting it in front of the rock. And so now we can establish that all 3 of their ultimates were essentially wasted. For Hal, he used it far too early. For Guild, I think the placement and even the timing was a little bit questionable. And then for Waltzy, I'm not sure if he flew it up into the sky in order to prevent his teammates from getting hit by it and then subsequently stunned, but the piloting was a bit questionable. Each of these abilities is so powerful in the endgame that, if used correctly, could win them this tournament right here, right now. But now that all 3 ultimates are no longer in play, this is where the real endgame begins. Guild is able to swing to the right and knock Libel Ace, and while this happens, Hal climbs and swings left. As Hal calls that there's a solo on the left, Waltzy full commits, but he accidentally falls off the platform while trying to challenge Rambo. This causes him to take 50 damage to the ring. And as Waltzy was fighting, on the other side, Colonel Garcia has saved his Caustic ultimate up until this moment, and he uses it, getting 5 ticks of damage onto Waltzy, knocking him with his shield still intact. And so this leaves us with Imperial Hal and Guild for Falcons against Yuka F and Colonel Garcia for Fnatic, with Rambo as a solo for Hot Dog Mafia. The rest of the game from here only lasts a total of 5 seconds, meaning that each of our players go down in quick succession. For Guild, he takes 3 ticks of damage from Colonel Garcia's Caustic ultimate, as well as 61 total damage from Yuka F's Volt. Once he climbs back on top of the rock, Colonel Garcia has thrown another barrel that has direct line of sight onto Falcons, Falcons, causing Guild to take another 4 ticks of gas. And then Yuka and Colonel Garcia split the damage with their volts, being able to cut him down together. For Colonel Garcia, he starts taking 3 ticks of damage to Guild's final barrel that was placed at 1901. He then takes 103 total damage from Hal's RE45, and Guild is able to get the final knock with a combination of his R99 spray and 2 more ticks of caustic gas after going down, which leaves us down to Imperial Hal and Yuka F, the greatest player from APAC North versus the greatest player of all time. For Yuka, he starts by taking 25 damage to Rambo's missile swarm, followed by 1 bullet of Guild's R99. He plays cover for the next 7 seconds, where he begins to take both caustic gas and ring damage for a total of 91 health. 1 more tick of caustic gas and he is dead, but that tick never comes, and it's all because of Imperial Hal. Hal also takes his first damage to Rambo's missile storm, followed by 2 ticks of Garcia's caustic ultimate. Then Yuka hits him with 4 shots from his volt. Hal then, in the heat of the moment, backs up into the ring and takes 25 damage. When he slides down the rock, he begins to shoot his Bangalore smoke, which, when using the electric smoke perk, will do damage to all enemy objects, aka the caustic traps in this circle. The smoke, though, is not able to delete the barrels in time, and Hal dies to a combination of caustic gas from Garcia's barrel as well as Yuka F's volt. Right after this, Rambo steps into the ring and takes 25 damage as well, causing him to lose, and Fnatic take the win.
What? We get more Fnatic!
Oh! Fnatic! Fnatic! Oh my God!
They smoked out the Falcons! They cleared out the nest! And for Japan, we get more Apex!
But what about that Bangalore smoke? Many were quick to notice that Hal did not use his smoke to destroy the caustic barrels throughout the fight, which caused him to respond on Twitter clarifying that had he done so, the smoke not only disables enemy barrels, but friendly ones as well. So is Hal right? Would a smoke have saved Falcons? First, let's mention that when it comes to Caustic's ultimate, if you Bangalore smoke it, it will actually disable it for about 4 seconds. As we saw earlier, Waltzy ended up dying to Colonel Garcia's ultimate, but the final tick actually happened as the ultimate was expiring, meaning that if Hal did in fact delay that ult by 3 total seconds, Waltzy actually survives the encounter. And remember that Waltzy still had armor when he died, so an extra 2 to 3 seconds saving another 30 or so HP gives him a pretty decent health pool to work with. But what about the endgame barrels that Guild and Colonel Garcia had out? If Hal destroyed those earlier, would Falcons have won? When we isolate the damage that only comes from the caustic barrels after both Guild and Colonel Garcia's ultimates have expired, Guild's barrels do significantly more total damage to Fnatic than vice versa. Removing the barrels forces the players into a straight up shootout, which on paper Falcons are the better team, but in the actual game, the Fnatic duo dealt more damage to Hal and Guild than the other way around, in large part due to Yuka F's massive 197 total damage dealt with his volt. So in short, Hal is probably correct. Destroying the caustic barrels based on the damage done actually provides Fnatic with a little bit of an advantage, which makes their win that much easier. There obviously is some sort of scenario where maybe Hal does smoke, destroys the barrels, and then both he and Guild just go crazy with their guns and win the game, but that's just speculation. So let's get towards that end game smoke that Hal actually did use right before he died. Remember when I said that that final tick onto Yuka F never happened? It's because Hal's smoke does go off right before the game ends, disabling both barrels and preventing a final tick. In a hypothetical world where Hal does not use that smoke, Yuka F actually dies to caustic gas just under half a second before Hal will. The only problem in this scenario for Hal is that Rambo would still be alive and actually outlive Hal regardless. So in a freak scenario where Hal has the next level awareness to not only not smoke, but also, instead of trying to fight Fnatic, killing Rambo, Falcons would have won the game. That's how close the margins were in this endgame. Each of these players was 1 tick of damage away from death. And I realize that That part right there, incredibly nitpicky. Obviously impossible to expect the players to be aware of something that small in a matter of 2 seconds, but it just goes to show how the smallest of margins can decide an entire tournament. Anyway, 2 games later, the most absurd zone pull in Apex Legends history happens, and every single team in that lobby guessed it wrong. And if you want to find out why, click right here.